Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
In this episode, we will discuss how contract modifications can be accounted for under Ind AS 115. Let's understand the entire case of contract modification by taking a simple illustration. Let's say we are a company that manufactures air conditioners and we have received an order for 100 air conditioners. And these 100 air conditioners are to be supplied over a period of 4 months. If I put it on the board, we have received an order for 100 air conditioners. As I said, it is to be delivered within 4 months. So we can say it will be 25 air conditioners per month. So in batches of 25, we will be dispatching our air conditioners. Now, the day when we are signing this contract, at that time the stand-alone price per air conditioner is, let us say, 20,000. Stand-alone price is nothing but the then existing selling price. So today I am getting an order for 100 air conditioners. Today I am selling an air conditioner to a separate customer at 20,000. So 20,000 will become the stand-alone price. And as we have understood, in batches of 25 air conditioners, we will be supplying it to our customer. Let's say now 1 month comes to an end. Let's put it this way. So after 1 month, tell me, what will be the position after 1 month? The total order was for 100 air conditioners. 25 air conditioners we must have already supplied. So after 1 month, 75 air conditioners are still to be supplied. And of course, it is to be done at 20,000 rupees per air conditioner. So my revenue per unit is turning out to be 20,000. I can put it in this way, that our revenue per unit will be the contracted price, which is 20,000. So I still have to give performance of 75 air conditioners, which I will be doing over the period of next 3 months. Let us say after 1 month, our customer places an additional order of another 25 ACs. So this is also something which is happening after 1 month. So there is an order for additional 25 air conditioners. But 1 month has already gone by, and because 1 month has already gone by, there can be a change in the stand-alone price. When this contract was entered into, at that time I was selling an air conditioner at 20,000 rupees per air conditioner. But after 1 month, the price has fluctuated. So after 1 month, the stand-alone price, let's say, the stand-alone price is now rupees 19,000. Let's say there has been a slight reduction in the selling price. Let's put it in that way. So what has happened over here? As far as the original contract is considered, 75 units are still pending to be supplied, which I will be supplying at 20,000 rupees per unit. My customer says that I want another 25 air conditioners. I tell my customer that okay, I will supply another 25 air conditioners, and this 25 air conditioners I will supply at the existing price, and that existing price is 19,000. Let's say my customer says okay, everything is fine. So just see this. We will consider this as a modification of the contract. Try to look into it. What Ind AS 115 says is that if the scope of the contract is increasing, right? This is the first situation which is given in Ind AS 115. That see, if the scope of the contract is increasing, as it is happening over here, and the scope is increasing at the stand-alone price, two things should happen simultaneously. Scope is increasing. Increase in scope means more goods and services are added. Here, as you can see, additional 25 air conditioners are added. And the second condition, which is then in Ind AS 115, consideration should be increasing at the stand-alone price. If both the conditions are getting satisfied, then whatever is the modification in the contract, it should be treated as a separate contract. In other words, this original contract will be accounted for separately, and this modified contract will be treated as a separate contract. Once again, very quickly, the conditions of Ind AS 115 are, and both the conditions should get fulfilled. The scope should be increasing because new goods and new services are added. New goods, new services are added, and this increase should happen in such a way that the consideration is increasing at the standalone price. So just see it carefully. This modification has nothing to do with this contract. These 75 units will be still supplied by us at 20,000 rupees and air conditioner, while these 25 units will be supplied at 19,000 rupees per air conditioner. So my revenue per unit for both the contracts is different, and that is the reason I will continue with the original contract accounting as it is. I will not disturb this, and this I will treat as a separate contract. So you know what will happen in the next month? In the next month when I supply, as we know, we are going to supply 25 air conditioners per month. So in the next month when I will supply 25 air conditioners of this contract, I will recognize revenue at 20,000 rupees per unit. And when I will supply these 25 air conditioners, I will recognize revenue at 19,000 rupees a unit. So I am simply treating it as a separate contract. So this is a separate contract, and just don't disturb the accounting of this contract. Let it be accounted as it is. So that is the first possibility. What more is possible? Let's discuss that. Let us say after 1 month, we are again placing an order for additional 25 air conditioners. So I call up the supplier, let's say I'm the customer, I call up the supplier that I want another 25 air conditioners. The supplier tells me that yes, right now the going rate is 19,000. I'm ready to supply another 25 air conditioners at 19,000. But what I do as a customer is I start bargaining with the supplier. I tell the supplier that how can you charge 19,000 rupees? You know, first I tell that supplier that see, already you are charging 20,000 rupees for the earlier consignment, right? I am your existing customer. I am placing an extra order, so I want a discount. So what we do is we start bargaining as far as the price per unit is considered. And we do fierce bargaining and we bring down the supplier. Let's say we bring down the supplier at 15,000 rupees an air conditioner. I make that supplier agree to supply 25 additional units at 15,000 rupees. So what has happened this time is, this 15,000 rupees does not reflect the stand-alone price. It is a steeply discounted price. Now, think from the viewpoint of the supplier now. If you are selling to a third party, then you can sell the air conditioner at 19,000. Why are you getting ready to supply the air conditioners now at 15,000? Why? Why are you really doing this? You can always tell the customer that I'm not interested, but still you are going ahead with the contract. Why? Why is it so? You know why? Because you as a supplier is seeing these two contracts together. You know, you are thinking in this way, that these 75 air conditioners I will supply at 20,000 and these 25 air conditioners I will supply at 15,000. Agreed. But when I consider both of them together as a supply of 100 air conditioners, you feel that you are earning sufficient amount of money. Again, try to understand. In this contract, you are definitely going to make a reasonable amount of money. Here, yes, there is scope of making less money, because instead of 19,000, I am just going to sell it only at 15,000. So why am I agreeing to bring down my price by 4,000? The only reason that we can understand is that you are taking the entire contract, or rather I'll say you are taking the modification as a whole of a contract. You are thinking in this way, that this 75 and this 25 taken together, now there is sufficient money to be made. You as a supplier think in this way that, okay, I will make less money here, but I'm making a lot of money here, and on an average basis, there is sufficient money to be made. So, this time the modification cannot be treated as a separate contract. This contract makes no sense without this contract. The money made in this contract will absorb the money lost in this particular contract. And that is the reason we should merge the two. We should consider this as an extension of the original contract. Right? Merge the two and consider it to be a single contract. And if you say it is a single contract, that means it's an extension of your original contract. Now, the moment you say it is an extension of original contract, you should now adjust your revenue per unit. Please understand this. This 75 air conditioners at 20,000 and this 25 at 15. No, that cannot be done, because this entire contract as a whole makes sense only when I combine the two. And that is the reason. Now I will find out what is the average revenue per unit. So as a supplier, I am thinking in this way. You know, that 75 air conditioners I will supply at 20,000. This 25 air conditioners I will supply at 15,000, and total I divide by 100 air conditioners. 100. This 75 pending and this extra 25. So that's how I get 100. So if I solve for this, 75 into 20,000 and 25 into 15,000, and then I divide that by 100. Now I am getting this as 18,750. So the next month when I will supply the air conditioner, I will not recognize revenue at 20. I will neither recognize revenue at 15. I will recognize revenue at 18,750. See, this is the only reason that I agreed for the steep discount. It's quite possible that once I find out the average, I realize that per air conditioner I will earn 18,750, which is actually more than the cost of the AC. So overall I feel that there is profit to be made, right? Lot of profit here, a little bit less profit here, or maybe even a loss, but when I combine the two, there is enough money to be made. So this is a situation where we will, right? This is a situation where we will consider this modification as extension of the original contract. What Ind AS 115 says, now we will look at the conditions which are there in Ind AS 115. Ind AS 115 says that, see, if the scope of the contract increases because new goods or services are added, that condition is getting fulfilled over here. I am placing an additional order of 25 air conditioners. So the scope of the contract is increasing, but consideration does not increase as per the standalone price, then consider it to be an extension of the original contract. And that's exactly what we do over here. Right? What more is possible? Okay. Let's continue with this original illustration only. Right? 100 air conditioners, that was the order given. 1 month has gone by. So now 75 air conditioners are still to be supplied. And you know what happens after 1 month? Our customer calls us. Let's say we are a supplier. Our customer calls us and says that now I don't want the remaining 75 air conditioners. I want now only 25 air conditioners. That's it. So our customer is saying that only 25 air conditioners are required. That's it. You are curtailing the scope of the contract, right? Scope of contract will not only increase, scope of contract can even get curtailed. So 75 air conditioners are still to be supplied, but the client now is, the customer is informing us that now I don't want the remaining 75, now I want only only 25 air conditioners. Not only that, the client also says that this 25 I want at 19,000. So our customer is calling us and is suggesting that I'm sorry, I originally entered into 100 units of AC, but now I don't require that. You have already delivered me 25 units, really nice. I want another 25 units. And then that same customer tells us that, see, right now you are selling to a new customer at 19,000. I also want it at 19,000. Now you as a supplier has to decide whether you want to modify this contract or you just want to terminate this particular contract. Now, our calculation shows that if I tell no at 19,000, then I'll unnecessarily lose that revenue. So as a supplier, we tell our customer that, okay, fine, no problem with it. I've already given you 25 air conditioners. In the next month, I will give you another 25 air conditioners, and that too at rupees 19,000. 19,000 of course is reflecting the stand-alone price at that particular point of time. What should I really do now? Just check over here. Just check. Nothing of the original contract is really continuing now. Original contract was 100 units. 25 units were already delivered. So as per the original contract, I have to deliver to you, supplier. I have to deliver to you 75 air conditioners. I have to deliver that to you at 20,000. That was the original contract. But see, nothing of the original contract now continues. Now I will not deliver 75 as per the original. I will now deliver only 25. Originally I was supposed to supply at 20,000. Now I have to supply at 19,000, isn't it? So nothing of the original contract is continuing. So Ind AS 115 says that when you have this kind of a situation, consider this as termination of the old contract and creation of a new contract. So original contract will be considered to be terminated, and this will be considered to be a creation of new contract. No need to do any further accounting of it. It makes no sense at all because none of these terms are continuing after the modification. Right? So very quickly, if we go through the entire concept, please understand it. Scope of the contract is increasing because new goods or new services are added, and the consideration also increases at the stand-alone price. Then consider this as a separate contract. Continue with the original contract accounting as it is and consider the modified contract as a separate contract. Possibility number 2, the scope of the contract increases because additional units of goods and services are added, but the consideration does not increase at the standalone price. Then consider this as an extension of the original contract. Yes, this time you will have to find out an average revenue per unit. And finally, the third situation. The scope of the contract is getting curtailed, or the consideration is getting reduced, or both the things are happening. Then consider it to be the termination of the old contract because nothing of the original contract is now continuing, right? It is absolutely modified. So original contract will be deemed to be terminated and the modified contract will be deemed to be a new contract.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.